Immigration policies might feel like a Washington, D.C. issue. We've touched on this before because, after all, immigration is a federal matter. But the impact of those policies, well, they hit a lot closer to home. Idaho dairy farms, for example, some that have operated for generations, are now bracing for stricter enforcement, and they're wondering if their workforce and their future might be in jeopardy. Hunter Funk is here now. A federal flip-flop on immigration enforcement has dairy leaders worried about ICE raids, workforce, and just the future of their farms, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're worried about what comes next, Brian. The Idaho Dairy Association's CEO, Rick Nearbout, says things are uneasy right now, and not just in the Idaho dairies, but in the entire ag sector.
Look across the board, the number of Idaho commodities that are top 5 in the country, that's all at risk. I mean, we're tip of the spear in dairy, but it is all of our major commodities have risk in this, and that even industries that have access to the H-2A program, they still have a significant piece of their workforce that's here without status.
ICE raids are taking place across the country, and many commodity groups in the ag industry felt a sense of relief when the Trump administration told immigration officers to pause arrests at farms, restaurants, and hotels. It came after President Donald Trump expressed concerns about the impact aggressive enforcement was having on the industries. But it didn't last long. A few days later, the Assistant Secretary of Department of Homeland Security declared there will be no safe spaces and that worksite enforcement remains a cornerstone of their efforts to safeguard public safety, national security, and economic stability. Nearbout says the dairy industry continues to struggle getting people to come to work for them. And while the ICE raids aren't helping the industry in that process, an H-2A visa program would. But that also looks to be a long time coming.
Right now, you go back to DC and you talk with Republicans about trying to do something on this front, and they say, hey, we have to address the border first. That's the primary focus of the American voter, and we need to take that issue off the table before we start talking about reforming visas. So that's step one, is getting the big, beautiful bill passed and signed into law. And then we're hopeful that at that point, we have the ability to have some real robust conversations around reforming visa programs and getting year-round agriculture access to a visa for the first time in history.
The aggressive ICE raids at work sites can have a ripple effect for the workers, producers, and even for you, the consumer. Coming up at 6, we're going to break all of that down for you, of what that ripple effect really looks like.
Okay, because this recent agreement that Idaho just went into with the federal government, when it talks about criminals that they take out of the jails, that's where that focus is supposed to be.
Yes.
But as we heard, that doesn't mean everybody else is just off the table.
Yeah.
It just means that's where the focus is. And so,
Yep.
all right.
And some people are scared to go to work.
Yeah, I can understand that. All right,
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Hunter.